What's going on, people? Week 4, started week 4. Plant Don Shawn. Welcome to the Horticulture Trap House. Thanks for checking out what we got going on. So, hopefully, everybody's plants is doing good. Pardon me, I'm all in the camera. They should be looking something like this. We got we got about 3 sets of leaves on here, starting on set number 4. Here's the King Shawn variety. If your plants look like this, keep going. Remember, we had the hose in the bottom. We're in a tray. We're going to be bottom watering. Don't want to be splashing water up top. And if you remember as well, we buried these pretty deep in the cup because our light wasn't close enough. Plants were stretching. As you see, got multiple nodes growing. No stretching anymore. Why? Because we got the light closer. Again, we're using CFL lights. You can use those. There's LED lights as well. You do whatever fits in your budget. Over here, we're trying to teach y'all how to grow your own personal bud or medicine, whatever you want to call it, on a budget. So we're keeping costs as low as possible. So, I hope everybody's had a good week. Definitely got a lot of things accomplished this week. Got a lot more things to accomplish. So, and again, this is about growing your own because it's extremely important to grow your own and to have your own. Can't stress that enough. So, for anybody that's out there that doesn't, hopefully this helps you get to that point. Just one more step in gaining self-sufficiency. So, now, in this growth cycle that we're doing here, we are going to be growing outdoors. So, with that being said, everything we're going to be doing is showing and teaching you guys how to prep and grow your stuff outdoors. It's a little late in the afternoon, but as you see, it's nice and bright and sunny out. Seasons are changing. We're getting close to the time where, where we're going to actually be hardening our plants off. If y'all remember what that was when we're getting our plants ready to go outside. We're going to do it on a staggered schedule, something to that effect. So what I did today was I had these plants outside for a few hours, had them in a little shady spot so they're not getting direct sun, brought them back inside, put them back under the light. And if anybody had any questions regarding that, as far as the light goes, I showed y'all the lights, showed y'all what kind of lights. I'm going to go back to video episode 1, maybe episode 2, all of that info was in there. But one thing I may not have said was the timing of it. So when we're first starting these off and everything, again, we're trying to mimic nature while we're indoors. So in our vegetative state, where our plants just growing stems and leaves and getting as big as possible, that's during the spring and summertime when there's the most amount of sunlight as far as daylight hours. So I have my lights over here set at 18:6, meaning 18 hours on, 6 hours off. Now sometimes, depending on the cycle that I'm doing, I might leave the lights on for a longer amount of time, but only for a short duration. So for example, if we were doing an indoor grow, I might have the lights on 24 hours for at least maybe the first 2 weeks. Then I'll drop it down to 18:6 for the rest of the veg. Just so that way we get some quick growth that's going on. So, but with these are, Farmer Shawn personal strain that we are developing to naturalize and be able to work best in conjunction with our New England weather or our Connecticut weather over here. Again, we are growing in Connecticut where it is legal. If you are following this cycle to grow your own, make sure that it is legal. Check the laws, regulations, and everything like that. Because again, we're here to just teach you how to grow your own medicine. We're not here to try to land you in any type of trouble whatsoever. So, as always, got Spitter in the background. Keep the motivation going. Always got to keep some type of motivation because it's trying times out here. Some days it feels like you take 1 step forward to only take 2 steps back. But message to everybody that's out there. it's plenty of times where situations or even individuals can set you back and slow you down, but in no way, shape, or form can they ever stop what's going on. So as far as us over here in the horticulture trap house, Plant Don Shawn in particular, you can slow me down as much as you want, but you'll never stop me. You're always going to find a way to push through and to persevere. So on today's episode, like we said, talk to y'all about hardening plants off. Now, what we're actually going to be getting into today, we're not going to focus so much on the actual physical plant itself, but since we are prepping for outdoors and we are growing outdoors, I want to go over some fertilization things with y'all, the main one being compost. So I'm going to show you guys what I use for my compost, and actually I'm going to show you guys what I use to make my own compost. So with that being said, I'm going to see y'all in a second. Enjoy the music. Alright, back at it. So, just to show y'all, what I do here is I save all my kitchen scraps. So, we're making some bouillon, some soup joule mou. That's just a few different Haitian soups that we make over here. So, with that being said, we had some potato skins, carrot skins, turnip scraps, and obviously, as you see, banana peels. Let's get that sticker off of there. We don't want that in the compost. Yeah, most of it all, at least. So, now, with the compost, essentially, we're just taking organic matter. For us over here, we're using vegetable scraps. Sometimes there may be eggshells or anything like that in here. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera. There may be some eggshells or anything like that in here. If you are going to be using that, I do recommend rinsing out the eggshells beforehand, just because when it's breaking down in the compost, it just it leaves less opportunity for any type of pest that you don't want in your compost to come inside of it, and that's just not going to be good whatsoever. And pests, more than likely, it'll be like raccoons, possums, potentially mice, depending on where you live at. But yeah, so that's that. With our compost, essentially it's just broken down raw organic material. Could be anywhere from your food scraps, could be shredded paper, cardboard, and anything to that effect. If you are going to be using any cardboard, I know a lot of people out there ordering from Amazon all day, every day. You get those brown boxes, don't know what to do with it. Or any cardboard box that you have. I would prefer you guys to use any cardboard that does not have any like synthetic dyes or inks on it. So stick to your brown cardboard. Don't stick to any like white boxes or boxes that may be covered in some type of film or plastic or wax, because that's not something organically you want in your compost pile. It may look like it'll break down, but it's not. It's just breaking into little pieces. It's kind of like just dry rotting or rotting out, and there'll just be small particles and scraps that are in there. And you don't want that in your soil, because part of growing your own is knowing everything that grows into it and having the most healthy stuff go into it as well. So we all go outside. I'm going to show y'all what we do with the compost, but just in case camera's a little noisy out there, just break it down for you. Now, you don't want just raw organic materials in here, or just like your fresh veggies, scraps, or anything like that in there. You're also going to want some what we call brown material. So your compost is made of two things. It's made of green material and it's made of brown material. Now your ratios that you want is you're going to want like a 1-to-4 ratio green to brown. So you're going to want like 1 part green and 4 parts brown. You could get away with a 1-to-3 ratio where it's 1 part green, 1 part brown. And as far as measuring it out of the 1-to-3 or 1-to-4 ratio, use your best judgment. You could use like by volume and use the same size container. You could try to do it by weight, or you could just eye it out. So what I like to do is I keep my compost close to where the planting area is at, so that way I'll be able to, one, when we're getting ready to plant, mix some into the soil, but as well throughout the season we'll do some top dressing. Now a few other things that can go into your compost as well is some biochar or charcoal. I tend to cook outside all summer long, and I use a makeshift fire pit, and I burn actual firewood for it. So what I'll do is the bits of firewood that aren't completely burned and they're just charcoal, I'll use that in the compost as well, and I'll also use the wood ashes themselves. So you do want to do that and allow it to fully break down and to actually compost before you add it to your soil, simply because your fresh raw charcoal, it will provide nutrients in the soil and will provide trace minerals, but unless it is in a state where it's been composted, it's actually going to tie up those nutrients while it's breaking down, so that way those nutrients won't be available to your plants, and that's not what you want. You want everything available for these little girls over here, so that way they grow big and strong and give you all the beautiful, delicious flowers that we're all, seeking and searching after. So we're gonna go outside, and I'm gonna show y'all roughly the ratio of it, and I'm gonna show you guys another technique that I use. So I make big batches of soup, so that's why I have this amount here on a day-to-day basis. I'm not sure what you guys got going on in your households. You may not produce this much food scraps, so you can either save them in, let's say, like a Tupperware or something like that. But there's another trick that I use that also helps me get my ratio of green to brown. Is there's a lot of brown paper bags that's going around in the shopping stores as of right now. So Connecticut did away with plastic bags, and they gave us paper bags now. So depending on where you go, sometimes you still got to pay for them, sometimes you don't. Most times, stores that I go to, we don't have to pay for them. So what I would do is I would put all of my scraps in the paper bag. So once, there's about, a quarter of the paper bag filled, I'll just roll that up. I'll put that into the compost. And then we have some other, whether it's some unfinished compost that may be going on in there, or just other material that I can use as brown material, I'll pile that on top of it as well, just so that way it keeps it covered. So that way any smells that may be coming out of it, it keeps, those pests away. Like I said, possums, raccoons. I don't have any small rodents or mice or anything like that around here, thank God. But if you are in an area that you do, that will help it out, just because it'll cover up the smell and they'll be less likely to start digging and fishing through your compost. Squirrels are another one as well. Those darn tree rats, they get into everything. So yeah, we're gonna go outside, and then I'm gonna show you guys what's going on before we go. I'm gonna just dump this in a paper bag, and I'll just show y'all the exactly how we do everything. Be right back. So, almost lost the camera there. That was crazy. All right, so we got our paper bag. We're gonna take all our food scraps. Some other items that are in here are, like I said, eggshells. They have been rinsed out, and I also have some coffee grounds in here as well. So that's gonna go there. This plastic bag will go in the recycling bin. We're gonna fold this down, and then we're gonna take it outside, and I'm gonna show you what I do to cover this up, and also what I do to kind of help aid the or speed up the decomposition process. So I'll see y'all in a second. All right, and we're back. Sorry I'm not on the camera again. Like I said, cameraman's out doing some dope stuff. Shout out to Young Harvest. I see you out there, homie. Keep grinding. Here's our compost pile. I have some bags over there. They're not but we're gonna add them along with the new bag that we had. And I know you may have seen it. Let me show you another quick shot. Here's the makeshift fire pit where I do all my cooking at. I guess the kids broke a mason jar. They threw it in there to see if they can melt the glass. They didn't. But yeah, we would take, as you see, where you go? Here we go. We'll take some of the biochar here. So that's just a charcoal. It's just the wood that's not completely burned. It is burned all the way through to where it's charcoal, but it's not actual ash. It's a little sticky in there. It's been raining a lot around here, but we'll see how that goes. Sorry for any noise. If y'all can't hear me, hopefully you could figure everything out that I'm doing. So what we would do to aid in it, I'm just gonna dig, just a small little hole. This is my compost area. It is fenced in just with some chicken wire, just to keep everything from falling out. Strawberry patches and everything like that. And that's it, just like that. So we'll do that there. Put a little bit of our soil around it. We'll put all the rest of our food scraps and everything like that. Can you see that? Yeah, got all of our food scraps in there. And then I have all my branches that I clean up around the house. We'll chip them, and that'll be the rest of our brown material that we'll kind of just pile on top over here. So because it's been raining, all of those pretty much shredded branches, the chipper I have doesn't really make wood chips, it makes wood shreds. So they actually hold on to the water really well. Another set of brown material that you can use, that you can collect in the fall, are leaves. Got some maple leaves here. They kind of break down pretty easily. If you have oak leaves, they do take a lot longer to break down. They do have a higher acidity content, so will make your soil slightly acidic. But these plants actually do like the soil slightly on the acidic side, so that's actually going to work in your favor. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take all of this material here, cover all of that. We'll move that back into the pile, and we're just going to get everything covered, and that's going to be that. So that's going to be the compost that we're prepping. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some renovations. These were last year's pots that we were growing in outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually build a raised bed that's going to run this whole length over here, and we're going to plant directly in that. So we're going to take all of this soil that's in there in all of those pots. We're going to mix that with our compost within the next week and a half or so, possibly 2 weeks, and then that's what's going to fill our raised bed. And if we need more material in there, we'll be able to take a judge of that, and I'll also show you guys some tricks on how we can fill the raised bed, again, on a budget, keep it at cost as low as possible. So hope y'all enjoyed that. Fingers all in the camera. I'm working on the camera work, guys, so until I get it 100% right, I was gonna have to deal with what we got. But Plant Don Shawn, shout out to Freehaven Farms. We'll grab you that I Need a Seated hoodie. It's perfect time. And that's that. So I got a few things to do. We're gonna get back out there. Like I said, we're gonna get everything, all of that raw material covered, and we're gonna mix it we're gonna mix it like once a week. Like I said, it's been raining, so it is moist, and that's the other thing. You do want your compost to be slightly moist. You don't want it to be soggy. You just want it to be slightly moist, and then you're gonna want to mix it maybe every 3 to 4 days. Yeah, you're gonna want to mix every like 4 to 5 days. You can just mix it. Mixing it, just pretty much turning it upside down on itself. And what I would recommend is, if you have your setup similar to mine, where you're covering it in like shredded wood chips or leaves or paper or anything to that effect, remove that first, flip all of your raw organic material that's underneath it, and then use that to cover it back up. Again, that's going to keep your pests from bothering your compost and everything like that. And it's just going to keep everything as smell free as possible. So that's that. Hope y'all have a good time out there. Hope everybody's having a good season. It's springtime is here. hopefully, you're taking your time hardening off your plants. If you haven't tended to your plants or checked out your plants, go check them out. And with that being said, get up out my trap house. Bangata.